Good morning, gamers. Ringo here. AWT has come and gone, but not without revealing a ton of information during it and leading up to it, including something that has me low-key happily retracting a statement/theory regarding comeback mechanics in Marvel Tokon. There's some exciting stuff in here, so without further ado, let's get right into it. The first few things to talk about are going to be gameplay reveals. The biggest thing to talk about with those is from a series of videos. Shoutouts to Chrome Alchemist on Twitter for getting some amazing gameplay footage during Arc World Tour. And if you guys want to actually go and hyper-analyze any new footage yourselves, he's going to be one of the main guys you go to. One of the things I'll always be interested in leading up to the release of the game is how old Marvel favorites from the previous Versus games stack up to their Tokon counterparts, and Wolverine is definitely way different. As you can see here, the anime fighter effect is on full display, with him not only having great rushdown potential and survivability, on top of an install with them bringing back his Berserker Rage seemingly, but with a very anime fighter-esque twist, but on top of that, they've given him a fireball that either has massive priority or just straight up purposefully beats every other fireball. His entire moveset was revealed as well, and I can tell this is definitely going to be something to apply to every quote-unquote returnee. An actual comeback mechanic was revealed, and honestly, there's not too much to say on it. I didn't think that there was going to be one in general, and so in previous videos, statements made regarding the form that the game would take because of the fact that there was no comeback mechanic most likely have to be revised slightly. However, the comeback mechanic doesn't actually seem so strong that it's something that needs to have a conversation in the same line as, let's say, X Factor. When you're on your last round and you have all of your characters unlocked, you have the ability to do a team-up attack called a Tokon Assemble. It's fully invincible, presumably does damage either greater than or equal to a level 3, and can only be used once per game, so everyone only gets one. Honestly, this is fine. It's cool, and it's a chill comeback mechanic. It's nothing to write home about, and while that's just an okay thing, it also definitely means that it's not a bad thing either. What with the fact that historically, this could very easily turn into a conversation the likes of X Factor, or Infinity Storm, or V-Trigger, or Rage, or what have you. Very okay, and I'm very happy with it. This isn't an aiding game. They have their definitions of bullshit, and anime fighters have their own definitions of bullshit. And like I said, I'm interested to see how that applies going down the line. That said, we don't know how much of that previous quote-unquote returnee statement I made a little bit ago will actually apply in this 20-character-based roster game, because now those spots are becoming less and less to see any returning faces, and more about having either more representation towards the new gen, or at least equal representation, because Penny Parker was revealed as a new character during AWT. If y'all remember during my last video, I actually predicted Penny being in the game, and I predicted her being like Bedman. And while there are similarities, an example having unique mobility for a big body and creating projectiles long-standing enough for you to act independent of them, giving you set play and unique combo extensions, there are definitely some notable differences between the two, so where I can definitely admit that I was sort of wrong about that part of the prediction. Also, even though I wanted her to be similar to Bedman, I kind of thought that she would have the spider similar to how she has it in Marvel Rivals. Instead, this is clearly a spider that's more similar to how we see her in Into the Spider-Verse. So that's actually pretty cool too. As far as new characters go, gameplay footage of Magic was also revealed, and we've learned some pretty interesting stuff about her. Just like with Wolverine, her entire moveset was revealed, and it seems like she's going to be a very diverse character, with these portals on her passive allowing her to simultaneously choose whether to control space or to close the distance entirely in the blink of an eye. All of her special moves can interact with the portals, allowing them to receive particular properties, such as her fireball when teleported to appear behind the opponent, or her flame pillars having tracking when sent through the portal. She's also been given a true install in the form of Darkchild, similar to Marvel Rivals, but definitely a lot less monstrous and more just red, as well as a resourceless super unique to the Darkchild state. All in all, this character is a 10 out of 10 in my books. They're knocking it out of the park and into space with these gameplay reveals. And speaking of space, more lore has been revealed for the story of Tokon, and we just keep getting more and more deep cuts. And boy, this is the stuff that I'm most excited for, As a nerd, specifically a Marvel nerd, I love the lore, I love the story, and it just keeps getting more and more awesome. The promoter is apparently the one kicking all of this off. For those of you who might not know, the promoter, real name Zarina Alina, is what's called an elder of the universe. Frankly, just a social club of really old people who have in some way, shape, or form collected an amount of cosmic power to make them genuine threats should they ever want to go down that line, who all share the specific characteristic of being the last surviving member of their species that have all been gone for roughly since maybe only a few million years or so after the Big Bang. So they're all around 5.5 to like 6 billion years old. You all might actually recognize some of the other members outside of comic books. For those of you who don't really read the comics, but just read or watch the media in general, like with the movies and whatnot. Enough for you to know that she's not from anywhere new. If you've watched Guardians of the Galaxy, Ego the Living Planet is an elder of the universe. If you've ever played Marvel Snap or played the mobile game Contest of Champions, the Grandmaster is also one, as well as the Collector who showed up in the Marvel movies during the Infinity Saga. So these characters like to either put themselves in or straight up create issues a lot of the times just because they feel like it and because they can. And as you can see here, now in Marvel Tokon, this is no exception. Apparently, the promoter has decided to see who in either various different planets or perhaps even various different timelines and whole Marvel dimensions themselves, which amongst them is the strongest. The loser will apparently find their home planet completely destroyed. This seems to be at least an anchor point for the primary story of Tokon, and it does actually give some context for some other stuff. For instance, since this is apparently a tournament, it would explain why when the game is loading, your teams are shown walking on a sort of platform in a center area that seems to transform into a location. This could just be you fighting on this stage that has been warped with some sort of holographic technology to make it seem similar to a place that is familiar, or you could just be straight up getting teleported there. This most likely also puts into context on the previous trailer that revealed the X-Men on why in the beginning when we saw this character here named Gladiator getting held. It's possible that he's just lost. And him in this defeated pose was showing a big hint to us as to why he was like that. It wasn't that he lost a fight to any sort of invader. It's possible that he's just gotten knocked out of the tournament and the promoter is about to destroy his homeworld. And now we're seeing the ending of that to what could possibly happen to any hero that loses the tournament themselves. Lots of cool stuff to think about. However, that's going to be the end of the video. I appreciate you guys for making it this far if you did, and even if you didn't, I appreciate you still putting time towards the video in general, and you guys have yourselves a great day. Peace.